It's my dog's birthday today. Hi, baby. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. It's baby 3 years old today. So I did this exercise today and I thought I'd come and talk about it because of my last video that I made. Oh, by the way, did you see that I'm trying to upgrade my set? The thing is, this was all here last week, but you couldn't see none of it because it was all on the floor. I was like, how do I raise it up? So then I've put some brown desks. They're not called desks. I don't know what they're called. Anyway, so I was sitting in bed and I was having like my usual hard time. And I was like, right, how do I change this around? Because like apparently there's loads of things to do. And I started to get this idea of like, you know, when people need intervention, like there should be like actual spiritual intervention where people can go away and like participate in like 30 days of like rigorous timetables of things that you know will be able to heal a person. Like for example, there's all this thing about sound being able to heal you and like breathing techniques. And there I'm on my bed, not having like the strength to do these things for myself and not even having the want to do it. That I just feel like I could just really benefit from being this like rehabilitation center where like it's on the timetable, be there at 9 a.m. Then the next one's at 10, the next one's at 11, and it's all on the timetable. And I'm just there waking up to this timetable every day. And then I'm there for 3 months until I heal. And you're guaranteed to heal after 3 months of having this like rigorous timetable of like breath control, breath work, sound bathing, massages, therapy. Like I feel like we could really benefit from having this type of center when somebody's like breaking down, having a really hard time of life, to go into this like rehabilitation center where you're helped back into health. That sounds wonderful. Anyways, right, takes me to this thing. So then I'm laying in that bed and I'm like, right, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to paint a picture to make myself feel better. Like this absolute fake picture. I'm going to just use my imagination and I'm going to pretend that this world is real. So then I was like, okay. So I closed my eyes and the first thing that happened is that I felt really sleepy and I'm like, great, let me go to sleep. But then instead of like me using my imagination to like make up a story that I wanted, I started to just like feel like I was just telling a story that wasn't what I was supposed to be telling. Like I just started to like picture this whole thing and then I started just to talk about it. And then I was like, where's this coming from? I don't know if I could trust these things because like there could have been like somebody right there feeding me this stuff and I don't know why they're feeding it to me, but I thought I'd come and talk about it to try and get it out on camera to see if I can like figure it out while I'm speaking about it. Straight away I got this vision of this like big massive building. I wanted to call it a castle, but I didn't want to call it a castle because a castle just comes with like this notion of like hierarchy, and this place is not hierarchy based, but it's like very very massive. And then like it had like loads of like spiky things coming out of it, or I don't know. And then I started getting an idea that like I want like, you know, like when something is a cylinder upwards, I wonder if like if I put it on my head, like if it would just help me to like be an antenna where like people can talk to me. Anyway, so then like there's this big massive building and it has loads of cylinders everywhere, like, and it's just like this massive building. And basically this is where I live, right? But obviously I don't live in there alone. Like there's a whole group of us that live in this building. And then next to the building there's like this massive like river, and it's like really wide, so it could almost be like a lake, but it's not a lake, it's a river because it runs all around and it's like massive river. And then I sat by the river looking at this building, and then I started thinking, like inside of that building feels like there's so much like that would activate my chest in terms of like, oh, I can do this and I could do that. And then outside here by the river, it just feels like I'm just at peace and I'm still, and I could just like nothing is activated. And I started to wonder like why, like what is it about the water and what is it about in there? And then I started to understand that in there is like full of beings that are like me, and if I'm around other beings that are like me, then all of this activation happens of like inspiration and movement. Whereas like the water is not like me, the water just serves as a different, so then it doesn't inspire me the same way. So then I'm sitting outside on this lake and I'm just sitting there like really peaceful, and I'm like really looking at the water glistening, and it's just the most peaceful thing ever. And like in the books that I read, there's always like this piece that comes inside in and out of the books. Obviously the storyline does go up and down and there's loads of like horrible places, but it always comes back to this like peaceful place inside of the book where like everything is just glistening and things are so beautiful and you get to just be peaceful. Like after such a hard time, you just get to be peaceful. Anyway, so then I was there like being peaceful, just sitting there, and then I was like, right, let me go inside of the building now to see like what I got on in there. So then I went there and then I was like, okay, first of all, everybody in here, they're like me. So then like we work in teams. So like all of these houses, if you live in a house full of like, and it's not a house because obviously it's too big to be a house, but whatever, the community inside of this building, like they're all very similar. So we all like the same type of things. And then I started getting the notion of like, because I wanted to call the people inside of this building like kind, but kind didn't seem to be correct, because what it is that when somebody likes to, because kind feels like it's like a choice between, oh, let me do this or let me not do it. Whereas like inside of this building, it wasn't really a choice, because it's something that you like, it's something that you enjoy. So I want to do this for you because I like to do it. So that's not really kindness. That's just like at the right place, at the right time, surrounded by the right people. It's not really called kindness. It's just called like, I'm doing what I like to do and you're receiving it from me because you want it too. And so then we fit together and we give to each other what we enjoy to give. So then it's not really kindness. It's just exercising what you like, right? So I'm inside of this building. We're all together. We're a community. And then I got this like other notion of like what we do together, like as a team in there. And I started to understand, like, if I do things for others, and that's my main priority, like, what can I do for you? Like, I'm serving you, I'm supporting you. Like, if I'm doing that and everybody in this building is also doing that, then that means that I'm also going to be taken care of, because like we're all just like giving, and not because like we have to, but because like we like it. So if somebody was like, oh, Nayna, sing for me, I like singing, therefore I'm going to give you my voice, and you like to receive my voice. So then I'm giving you something that you like based on the fact that I like to give it. And if all of us are doing that, then everybody inside of the building is going to be taken care of, because everybody is like giving. And so then it's not really about giving to yourself, it's about giving to others. And if you're in the space of doing that with other people doing that too, you're also going to be taken care of. So that's like the first thing that I noticed about the group of people inside of the building. So again, I'm sitting in my bed thinking, I'm supposed to be making up stuff here. And instead of making up stuff, I just seem to just be like connected to some type of like, I don't understand what this is. Anyways, and then I was like, right, let me go into one of the rooms to see like what's happening inside of the rooms. And then, so then I went inside of one of the rooms, and then straight away I was like, right, so in this room, by the way, I'm talking this out loud as I'm like looking around, right? Inside of my head, I've got my eyes closed and I'm just like talking out loud as I'm like walking around in this building. And so then I went into this room, and so then what we do in that room is that we watch planets, because that's what like the group that I'm with. So then, and in this room particularly, there was like 3 of us. So there was like two of my friends and then me. And we, in particular, the 3 of us, we like to watch planets. And, you know, the planets from far away, the planets from like really close together. And then I started to understand, that the planets, they like this, and inside of this room, sorry, I'm just like skipping everywhere, but inside of this room, it's like you can feel it. So then like you're floating in space, like going far away from the planet, so you can see it from far away, and then you start to go like towards the planet, and then as you're going towards the planet, you can feel the planet, and the planet like has actual life to it, and you're able to kind of like talk to the planet type of thing, and not really talk to it, but understand its reality, right? So then I'm like going towards the planet, and I could feel, and different planets have different feelings and they emit different energy, and as I'm going towards the planet, I can feel the energy that the planet is emitting. And so then like this is how we like to pass our time. Like we just like to like planet watch and go all over everywhere and just like planet watch. But then sometimes if you zoom in, which I don't like to do a lot of the time apparently, when I go into this room, I don't really like to zoom in, and my 2 friends, they like to zoom in, but I'm more of like a watcher. And because when you zoom in, you start to see the beings that live inside of these different planets. And then so then when you see the beings, I in particular start to get hungry. Like I want to be a part of that being. Like I want to be that being. So then I try to stay away, because I don't like to really jump into like different beings and stuff. I like to just like watch. So then I try to not do it. But when I do zoom in, I start to feel this thing. And it's so funny because I feel it in this body as well. Like when I'm watching like a faraway land and I can see like all the way over there and it's like really small, I start feeling like I wish I was there. Like I wish I was right there. I don't know why I have this feeling. And I always, since I was a little kid, I could see like faraway lands and just feel like I just want to be over there. It's like, oh, what's over there? Like, oh, and then I start getting this feeling of like wanting to go over there. And so then when I planet watch, and if we zoom in, I start to get this feeling of like, oh, but I want to do it. And if you watch them for too long, you end up desiring even more to just like become them. So then when you become them and you jump into one of the bodies to become them, you kind of have a choice of like, do I stay connected to what I am now, like this watcher? Like, do I stay aware as the watcher, or do I become the being completely as if I am just the being? And then people have the choice, like, what do you want to do? Sometimes like the more euphoric it feels to like zoom into something, like, oh, I wonder what it feels like to just be that being. Like, oh, look how beautiful it is. Like this butterfly that shines like a diamond. Like, what does it feel like to be this butterfly? And then that's when you decide to just be the butterfly and not have this like like notion of being the watcher, but you just want to be the butterfly. And then sometimes it's like, no, I want to be the butterfly and the watcher. So you just kind of have this choice of like when you jump into like a being, like if you want to stay connected or not. So then I'm just looking around, and then sometimes like I do zoom in and I'm like, oh, I don't like that. And in particular, there was this place called Earth, right? So we zoomed into Earth. And like me and my friends were like there, like so excited. And then, by the way, sorry, I was gonna say that the planets seem to be like show offy. So they seem to be like a bit like children, like, oh, look at me, look at what I am, look at my energy, look at like, so they're a bit like show offy. Whereas the water outside, because I was trying to understand like why is it that I'm here in this room excited? My chest is like really vibrating in excitement. But when I was outside in the lake, just sitting there by the river, like I didn't have this feeling. I just had like pure peace and stillness. And it's like, what is the difference? And it felt like the water wasn't show offy. Like the water was more like the mother. So the mother has no interest in showing off to the child. The mother just has the interest of like, let me be with you, let me love you, let me give you peace. But then the planet is like the child, where it's like, let me show you who I am. Let me show you what I am. So that's what I felt like the difference between the water and the planets was. So then we came across this thing called Earth, and they were doing some really weird stuff on there. And it was so interesting. And this is what I don't like, this part of the imagination, even though it was really peaceful, by the way. I'm just sitting there watching Earth. And these people are like killing each other, and they're like got the swords out. And then you've got like the man who's like in power. And then you've got all these like women who have no power. And then like these children, and they're really scared. And I'm watching this planet in complete like fascination. I'm like, what is that? Because like the existence of like who I am is like so massive. And there's so much to look at, and there's so many things to see, that when you see this like weird stuff, that you become fascinated with it. Like, what is that? And I hated that. Anyway, so then when I said like, what is that? Why is that happening? The answer was just so clear, where it's like, okay, well, obviously like we're endless. Like there's bound to be like this type of experience also available. Like there's this type of thing also. It's almost like it's being experimented on. It's like, well, we're experimenting with everything else, we might as well experiment with this as well. And this was like something so small. Like, so then like suffering and anger and violence and rape and all of this bad stuff that's happening on Earth is like such a small part of like the whole of existence, that it was like, well, why not? Like everything else is happening. Like, why would that not also be something that is being like experimented on? And so then like, because it was so weird, this like little thing happening on Earth was so weird, that I just was like watching it for a while and thinking like, but what? Why would you like want to like control something else? Like, why would you want to like be violent towards it? And the more that I watched this Earth, the more that I started to get that feeling of like, but what would it feel like to be weak? And what would it feel like to, and by the way, this existence wasn't wrong. It was just there. It wasn't wrong. It wasn't like this like infection. It was just a world, you know, a type of thing. Anyways, and the more I watched it, the more I started to like want to understand, like to want to feel what it feels like to do that, because I don't feel that way. I don't feel violence. I don't feel all this stuff that's happening there. And then it's like, and you feel weak. Anyway, so then I decided to jump into there, because I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to feel what it feels like, because this is really weird. Like, and I don't understand it. So then I jumped into Earth, into one of the beings. Like, okay, so what does it feel like? And so then here I am. And then I'm like, wait a minute, because then that doesn't mean that this is wrong. It doesn't mean that this is an infection. It just means that this is serving its purpose. And then it started to feel like, yeah, the people who are the most angry and the most violent and they're okay with it are the people who are completely into the being. And the people who are like fighting it a little bit and like being like, oh, this is all wrong, are the people that are still decided to be a little bit connected to like where they just came from. And again, none of it is right, none of it is wrong. It's just like, how much into the reality of this being are you connected to, and how much are you not? And then like some people are fully connected to it and some people are not. And when you become into the being, like the being has its process. So for example, if like there's this like being with antennas, right? And the antenna is like how you receive like images, right? So then you have to receive images through the antenna. That there's no other way around it, because that's what the being's reality is. And then once the information starts trickling down into the antenna and then it hits the head, then you have this like feeling, and the feeling's euphoric. And there's no other way to do it apart from that's the process that this being in its reality is. And so then it's like everything is the way it's supposed to be because that's the reality that it is. And so then I'm thinking, so why am I here trying to change this world if it's supposed to be exactly what it is? It's supposed to be violence. It's supposed to be like all of these things. And then furthermore, there's like loads of people who also want to change it. So there's loads of beings right now going, this is wrong, this is wrong. So then I got this other image of like it just being like, okay, so you want to change it? Okay, that's fine, we'll change it then. It's not that it's wrong. It's not that it's right. It's just what it now wants. And apparently all you guys now want to change it. So, okay, let's now change it. Hey. And it's not like this serious thing of like, that was wrong. I'm going to go incarnate in there and change it. It's like, no, you were just interested. Then you went in there. Everybody now wants to change it. Let's change it. It's not something that's like serious. It's something that's just happening. So then I wanted to just like go back to like the other place again, like, because I'm just thinking, okay, so then what then? Because like when I was by the river next to this building, I didn't have all this movement in my chest. I didn't have no movement. And then I realized that inside of the building, like there's all these stories that like are happening inside of each being. And all the stories, like they kind of intertwine with other stories and they kind of like support and promote and inspire stories, and everybody's stories are just all mingling together, and that's what creates all of this feeling inside of you, because you're supposed to like feed other stories and become stories and story, right? So then I'm a story, but the water is a different type of story, and it's not this type of story. So then I was thinking, okay, so then if I am here like a story, like who's watching it? So then I zoomed out, and it was like there's another layer that's watching me watch the planets, and somebody else is watching me thinking, oh, look at this being watching all the planets. Look at this being now going into a human body. Look at this being like just zooming around the universe watching planets. So then like there's somebody else watching me doing all this stuff. And then so then it was just felt like this like loop of like everybody watching everybody for fun. Watching for fun. Because let me tell you, I love to watch planets. And while I was like being this being, it was like I was just like collecting stories. Like how much can I see? How much can I be? Like, and every time I zoom into things, like how much can I, and it was just like this accumulation of stories that was like adding to like this identity of mine that I was being, and there was another layer just like there sitting there watching me do all of this stuff. So then it felt like that was what like the point of existence was. It was just like to be a story and to like accumulate stories and then to just like enjoy them. Because when I'm watching the planet like show off, it was interesting. It wasn't boring. It was interesting. And then the planet said, oh, look at me, and I'm there like laughing, thinking you're so funny, like you're such a show off, like it's so funny. And again, like when I was watching Earth and they were just all being violent, it was just funny. Like, I'm so sorry that sounds so bad. Like the way that I've cried being a human is like terrible, right? But then like as the watcher, it's like so funny that you're just there like stabbing each other and like doing this craziness. And it's like, what are you guys doing? What is this? And then you just become more and more enticed to like experience like, what is that? Anyways, and then I got to like the final question really because I was getting like so confused with this story that was coming into my head. That was like, okay, so then fair enough, I was there, it's funny from the other side, cool. I decided to jump in, and then now it's not so funny. Like now as the experiencer in this reality is actually just like horrendous. Cool, I got to experience it. So why are you now not taking me away? Because I've clearly said that I don't enjoy this anymore. And, life is supposed to be about enjoyment. Like all these stories that I'm accumulating is supposed to be about enjoyment and fun. And so now I've had it now. Like I've experienced it. It's not funny. I don't like it. Please take me away. Why is that not happening? And then it just felt like a script that I had set in place that I wanted to like do the ... And then once I've done all of the dots, then it was time to leave. And until I've done the dots, then the system is not going to let me go, because I've put the system, I've pressed play on the system. I said, okay, and then press play. And then here I am in my play, and I don't want to finish all of my dots anymore because I'm like, I don't like this. And then life is like, oh no, you've got a few more dots to go before you leave. And then I'm like, no, take me away. I don't want to finish my dots. And life is like, no, you press play. After I had all of that, right, then I felt like it was like, okay, well then everything is just a press play button. So why am I even trying for things? Like, why am I even, because it doesn't even feel like manifestation is real anymore, because it was like, no, like this is an absolute design. Like it's an absolute, like I pressed play on some plan and it was happening, and I knew exactly what was happening, and I was like intrigued, and then I came in, and now I'm like, oh, I don't like this, which I knew was going to happen, but I just wanted to feel what it feels like to not want to be there, because I thought it was so interesting. And then so then now here I am, and so there's no manifestation, there's no change in it, there's just like walking through the path that I have set. And I don't know what that path is because I'm not fully like connected to the other side or what I did. And I thought that this would be interesting when I was there. And I know that this is like in some way, shape or form, this is what like certain people have said that I've literally pissed me off, but they haven't said it in that particular way. Like they said it like, oh yeah, we're learning. No, we're not bloody learning, we're doing it for fun. There's no learning about it, there's just like fun, and it's weird. And no, Earth is not like moving and growing. Like Earth is violence, and that's what it was supposed to be. And now we're all here kind of going, oh, we don't want this violence. And then life is like, okay, then we're gonna change the game then. I don't know what to think about that. I guess it could be that this interesting like violent world that I was like, oh, how interesting, is actually like on its way to like changing. And then like when a game changes, like maybe it's a really interesting thing as well. Like, oh, the game's about to change. It's going from violence to like euphoricness. And that change is like such a huge, massive like explosion that it's like, ooh, I'm gonna get to take part in this like contrast of like living when you come from like hell to like heaven in like one line. And it's like, whoa, like, then it could be that that's what's happening on Earth, is like it's about to change to like this absolutely different reality. But I feel like that the Earth that was there, like the 100, because when I was watching the Earth, I was watching it like 200, 300, 400, 500 years ago, like where they were still on horses and stuff. That's when I was watching it. And then now here I am like in this like modern world. I wasn't watching that world. I don't know. So I feel like the Earth that was from 500 years ago is still like available there for like people to jump into if they want to. And then the Earth here where it's about to change, like is also available like to jump into, where you still get to suffer, you still get to experience all this like violence and stuff, and it's about to change and it's about to like be really weirdly different. And it might not, you know, it might not. But I was just saying that like it just feels like I could just relax now, because like I'm not even in control of this stuff, right? I'm just gonna walk. So okay, you don't want me to get a job. I've been applying for like hundreds of jobs. You're not giving me a job. That's because you don't want to give me a job. That's because you want me to suffer, because this world is about suffering. So yes, you're going to reject me. I want to sing. I want people to love my songs. Nope. Suffer. That's what this world is about. And so then here I am, like, so then I might as well not give a damn about any of it, because it's just all like already pre-planned. So I might as well just walk the line, see what happens until I leave this place. And I might as well continue to act on my impulses, which are like that I don't like violence. I don't like this world. I find it weird. I'm not enjoying it. If I had a choice, I would change it. And I have loads of ideas of how to change it. So I'm going to keep voicing them, and I'm going to continue to do all of these things without any of the frustration. Because the frustration is like, this is not supposed to be happening. And then this idea was like, well, yes, it is. Yes, it is supposed to be happening, and it was definitely available to you to jump into, and you jumped into it. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that was a bit, you know. But I will continue, because I'm not fully integrated into this like hostile being. I'm not integrated fully into it. I have this other thing going on where I'm just like, this is weird. And so then I'm going to continue to be my half integrated, half not integrated reality. I definitely want to leave though. So I hope that I don't have like a lot more dots left, because I definitely have better things to be doing in the other being, because there's just so much to do in that world, and this world is very, very like not enjoyable. So I hope that my time here will come to an end very soon, and if not, then I hope that I have planned like some really change of pace, you know, and that's coming up. And I hope that that's what's going to happen, because I am bored out of my head to just lay in here every day without a job, without success, without euphoric experiences, without a boyfriend that I could have sex with every day, without love and laughter with beings that are like me. You know, I'm starving all around and I'm suffering all around. So I hope that I have plans for that to end, or I can leave this body planned and move the hell on from here and never, ever, ever, ever come back to this weirdness, because now I've seen it, I've experienced it now. I don't like it. I'm never coming back. And to you guys who like it, you're gonna, when you finish your experience and you come out of your body, you're gonna be like, whoa, that was very left. And I was fully in the left. Whoa. I feel like that's what those people that are like, they're like enjoying the violence, like feel like when they leave their body, they'll be like, it's like they're gonna be shocked out of their heads. Right, I don't know if I concluded anything, but I guess I was just sharing the idea of what happened in my head. And I will be back with another video. Okay, I hope you like my red top and my white trousers and my new setup. I bet when I'm editing, I'm going to find something wrong with it. I'm going to be like, I didn't like that. Right, until next time, I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.